So let me run through the presentation for a few minutes, and then we'll go online. So we named this presentation as Pathway Essentials because to share the essentials of the Pathways programs, I want to skip this. So this is what you had earlier. You had the earlier program, competent communication, competent leadership. There were two tracks, leadership track and communication track. But now it is an integrated learning, integrated curriculum. So leadership and the communication is within the same track. I will skip these things because these I have already shared with you earlier. Alright, so what's new, what's tried and true? So no change. Don't worry about, there is no change absolutely in the meeting rules. Sorry, everything will be the same. So meeting rules will be the same. Only thing that evaluators have to be a little bit careful because there are evaluation resources in the website you need to download. And who is bringing the evaluation papers to the club? So that's the question now, whether the speaker himself brings, or the evaluator will bring, or the VP education. So that has to be decided by the club. So I think the most appropriate way is that the speaker to bring. Because the evaluator might not turn up on that day. So then you will end up with no evaluation resources. Better to bring by the speaker. Or VP education can keep a backup copy. Because without that you cannot do the evaluation. You need to go through the evaluation resources. So that is one of the challenges you will have as the VP education when you are managing the club affairs. Now the VP education's involvement, it is more than earlier, because the reason you need to manage the base camp activities when member requests. You have to verify the member when they perform, complete the levels. So you need to verify and approve them. So of course you were keeping track manually earlier. Now it's an online. So it's a change is that instead of your manual records, now you have online records. Club officers, district officers, those are not changing. Learning while having fun, so it's the same. You have the same club environment. So the difference in Toastmasters and a traditional educational program in a university or a course in an organization, in Toastmasters you have a different setup. This setup is actually tested and proven that this setup is more conducive for learning. Because you come up with the different backgrounds, different levels of knowledge, different levels of speaking ability. So, and people bring different material, and then you talk, and that also, in Toastmasters, what I have seen is that most of the Toastmasters are very friendly, and so that networking ability, you become a better communicator as well as you become a better person through Toastmasters. So, I think that environment you cannot create in a traditional course or a university. Updated manuals and paths. Of course, manuals updated, changed into paths, and all projects rewritten, some old, some new. So that don't worry about that. The program is built upon the framework of the Toastmasters old program. So it is not that they eliminated the old program and brought a new one. So it's an enhancement. So you have the framework of the old program, and you see some of the electives in the levels 3, 4, 5. You have the same what you have in advanced manuals. So maybe slightly changed, they say rewritten, some old, some new. That they actually want to bring the program to the closer to the reality of the market reality. See, people want to know. They found that most of the Toastmasters were not continuing, and they want a change that people will get more involved with the program and get more benefits from the program, and you have faster learning curve in this. More tutorials and learning resources, online management. So you have a lot of resources in the Toastmasters website. So all of you have to go and think about doing a course. Now, if it's a blended learning course, you might do certain activities in a university or a classroom, and then you go and do online work, tutorials. So it is the same way. So think that way, that you come and do activities here, those are practicals you do in the club, and then you go and do the online learning, through the website. Go through the materials. There are enough of amount of tutorials, documents to, the resources to read. So everyone has to do this one if you want to become a better communicator and a leader. All right, so this is the same thing which about talking about the club meetings. Of course, the program of Toastmasters build on these core competencies, 5 core competencies, which is the old program as well as new program. But new program, the sub-competencies through the parts, 10 parts you have about 300 competencies, whereas the earlier one had about 64. Now, again, these are core competencies of the program. These are the parts. Now, how many of you have selected dynamic leadership? Dynamic leadership. Effective coaching. None of you. Innovative planning. So 1, 2, 3, innovative planning. Leadership development. Motivational strategies. Persuasive influence. Presentation mastery. Strategic relationship. Team collaboration and visionary communication. So these are the 10 parts available for you to select. Now, how many parts you will get free? One part. As a member, Toastmasters member, you get 1 part free. So how do you select the path? You go to the website, the base camp. So once you enter to the base camp, there is a tab that you can go, click on that and select your path. You have to take an assessment. Now, if you want to skip the assessment and you think that my path is leadership development, so you skip the assessment and select your path directly. But if you want to go through the assessment and see what they ask, there are about, I think, 20 questions they ask. It is good to go through those questions and see, even though you don't need to select the same path what they recommend, but it's better to go through those questions and see. Let us go through it online and see what are the questions they ask.
Here, 2 types leadership is coming.
Yeah.
One is dynamic and leadership development.
Yeah.
The difference you will
see, if you go through the materials, you can find it dynamic. Now, leadership development is that you have certain activities to do to develop the leadership. So, dynamic leadership is that how do you change? How do you change within certain situations? So, that dynamism is that the change. So the related activities for these path slightly different. You might find the same, when it comes to leadership, so certain principles are same. So you might have similar projects. See, to complete one path, you need to do 14 projects. So 10, you have to, there are 10 compulsory and 4 electives. So to select 4 electives, you have 30 choices. So when you go through the materials, you will find what is the difference between these activities. Okay.
Even advanced project also will be continuing with this.
Yeah, with the levels are planned. Let us go to that. So, see, each part has 5 levels and total of 14 projects. Okay. So you can see mostly up to level 3, mostly communication, and level 4 and 5 it is communication leadership projects. So the fundamentals is the communication, and then so when you go towards the level 4 and 5, so you go through the leadership projects as well.
So you need to say in each pathway we have 5 levels, that's all.
Each path has 5 levels, 14 projects. But you are selecting now in Toastmasters credentials, the highest credential is a distinguished Toastmaster. To become a DTM, you need to complete 2 paths and plus certain other activities which I will show you. But in previous curriculum, we had 40 speaking projects. Now instead of that, you need to do 28. Okay, and plus the other activities which is similar to the current, the new one as well.
If you need to be CC, then what is the?
No, you don't have CC. You don't have CC. Now, if you want, now for the members who were there before the 20th of May, they still can continue the old curriculum for 2 years.
Yeah,
within 2 years, they will.
Those who are already
take it off.
those who are already CC and CL.
Yeah.
What
path they can select to how many projects to be done?
No, CC and CL, you can keep that CC and CL credentials, but if you select pathways, you need to go from the beginning. Yes, you cannot transfer these credits to the main program. So it's designed in a way that if you want to continue, yes, you can continue.
There is no exemption.
No exemptions. No, you need to do from the icebreaker.
So one more question. Now,
Yeah.
if I have two pathways I have taken, so in the both I have to give the icebreaker.
Yes. Yes.
I finish one path.
Yeah.
When I am starting another path.
I got to give the icebreaker. Because the reason I'll tell you. Now you select, see, this is an speaking engagement you get, opportunity you get. Now you talk about icebreaker, objective is to talk about yourself, introduce yourself. But now when you talk about leadership development, now you should write your speech introducing yourself and then the leadership qualities you have. Perhaps you can tell some stories about when you were young. So how did you involve with the leadership activities? Or so something which is related to that part. So that will give you an opportunity again to speak about you in terms of the path. So you can relate to the path. I mean, it is not necessary. It has not given that you have to relate to the path. But I recommend that it is better that you are doing two speeches on icebreaker. Maybe you are doing it after 1 year. See, you take 1 year to complete one path.
Suppose I choose two paths together.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Two paths together, yes, you can. You can do. You can open both paths but it is recommended to complete the path and then go to the other one because usually the recommended period for a path is 18 months. But you can do it, let's say 1 year and then go to another path, then you take another. Because the recommended period to complete DTM is 2.5 to 3 years, 2 to 3 years. So it is not that you do the projects quickly, but it is better that you do the projects with understanding and with the quality. So that is actually required. I mean, if you want to learn really, then you should do the projects with lot of efforts.
So the ultimate aim is only to become a DTM with the
Yeah, so it's only DTM now, there is nothing before that?
No, you get proficiency in, say, let's say every level when you complete, you can print yourself what are the modules you completed, and also you get a certificate once you finish path that you are proficient in dynamic leadership. So you are proficient in innovative planning. So that certificate is there, but you don't have CC, CL,
There is no
AL,
bronze, silver and diamond.
The question is, Toastmasters International will award you something if you complete certain level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
No, when you complete your path, you get a certificate saying that you are proficient in this path.
Okay.
Also, you will be able to print yourself all that. Now I'll show you in the web. So now let's say you finish level 1. So what activities you have completed. So with the pathways logo, you have that paper, so you can use as a certificate for that, as a transcript. It is a transcript actually. It's a transcript. You get the certificates when you complete the path.
One question.
Yeah.
I have joined before pathways rollout and I have done icebreaker on that. So after joining pathways, I have chosen a path. So do I have to do the icebreaker again? Yes.
Yeah, there was a time that if you have done very close to the rollout time, that you could have used that. But now it is, what I recommend is that do it again. Doesn't matter,
No, that I speak speech, you can use it. Only
But he can use the same speech. You can use the
No,
same speech.
Not same speech. I think same on the project. The VP can update that one and the pathway for
It is possible. If he is done, let's say 20th, they have to launch. But if he has done very close to
given the
20th,
icebreaker after
Yeah.
May 20th, it is the VP is, he can influence VP and ask him to upload that for the thing.
For that matter, actually,
the same question was asked from Toastmasters International. They said, okay, if you have done close to March 20th and you are going to go through the pathways, then you can use that icebreaker speech as the first speech.
Actually, I saw the system is not stopping you to update whether you have completed icebreaker.
You can do it without doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so which is not very.
Even third level also you can
No,
do it.
but thing is this.
Basically, we don't do it.
Yeah, in Toastmasters, it's a self-learning program,
It's a
self-paced
self-learning
program,
program.
and people have to be honest, because if you cheat that, you don't get anything out of it. You can just click, and I myself click because to test it. I click things and it works, and you can go to level 1 completed, but of
Only
course,
thing-
level 1 completion has to be approved by VP Education.
Yeah,
He can reject that.
Only thing you have to take
So-
a VP for dinner. Then
See, because if he rejects that, if he knows that he has not done, he can reject it. So the base camp manager, VP Education President, VP Education and the Secretary, they have access to all your records.
keep them happy.
So if you are doing something which is not according to the program or unethical, so we can reject that one.
When we progress to the levels,
Yeah.
for where we select from the base
I don't see any of those.
as, there is no option to select the due date. We are going to there is
No, I mean,
see, there is an option that once we choose our next week, we can choose the due date also. Then we have to choose the date. But it is not limited. There is no option that we set the date.
It's not, you cannot say, no, it is not, yeah, but we can do it, but maybe that is not activated yet. Because that has to come with the overall plan of the club, right? So the club VP Education has to have a plan that who's going to deliver. Also what earlier we used to do in Toastmasters, we have a program for, say for about 3 months, and then the VP Education can have a plan that these are the people going to see. You have as a club, you need to earn DCP points.
How the DC points here? Have you?
I'll show you that one, yeah. It's now instead of speech completion, you have level completion. Level completions, but yeah.
4 levels. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Please? No, I okay, just one question.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to very basics now.
Yeah.
Like, I finished my CC, right? So what happens to me? I have to go through this all again from the beginning?
See, now you have 2 options. So if you want to continue with the old program, so you can still continue.
We have finished before 2020.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years period you have. So if you are going to planning to go up to DTA, so you have 2 years to complete. But if you don't want to continue with the older program, then you have to go through the pathway.
But this we start from the beginning.
Yes, that is mandatory because you cannot transfer credits from the old one to these.
Same time, if you reach me at
So see, each path has 14 projects, 10 required. First level is foundational. Same for all paths, each path has unique set of required projects, and you have 4 electives which you can choose from 30 projects. So use the electives to customize your path. So you have choices 30, we will see that choices. So based on those choices, you can select your electives.
If you are taking the old version, how Toastmasters is the relation going to update your status?
It is the same way that now once you finish, you are doing it in a manual.
Okay,
So once you finish your manual, you are getting signature from VP Education, and at the end of the manual, you have number of projects which is completed with the dates. So when you give it to VP Education, he goes to the website and educational awards. So we can submit the older version. So that is possible until 2020 March. Alright, so these are the 5 levels. So these levels are designed again from the fundamentals to the expertise. So you have 3 levels where mostly you are in communication track, and when it comes to 4 and 5 levels, you are engaged with the leadership as well. So these are the projects what you have to carry out. Now these projects, when it comes to level 3, 4, 5, you have options that you can select. Yeah.
In level 1,
Yeah.
we have evaluation and feedback.
Yeah.
That is our project 2.
Yeah.
So in the project 2, it is shown that you have to give a speech, receive feedback, then apply the feedback into the next speech.
Yeah.
So this next speech is a part of single project, or it is a different project?
Can you read that again?
In project 2,
Yeah.
I have to deliver a
Project
speech.
you have implemented.
is,
Yeah.
I have to deliver a speech, receive feedback, and then incorporate that feedback in the next speech.
Yeah.
It will be the same topic.
Same topic, yeah.
So this is a single project.
Yeah. See, if we are talking about evaluation and feedback, yeah.
It is a single
Because, yes,
project.
yes, because you get the evaluation and then you recorrect your speech and then delivering it again.
So that means two speeches is one project.
One project, yes.
Not project 3.
No, not
This project 2.
So evaluation and feedback, so that you get an evaluation, then you correct your speech and then you deliver it
There
again.
is one more part in this
Yeah.
project 2. We have to give us an evaluator also. So to act as an evaluator.
Evaluate also, yes. So,
Many things comprise this project 2.
yeah, so this is what they have done is that now it is not only just giving a speech. So you need to recorrect your speech, you combine with the evaluation, and then you do an evaluation also. So that all three parts is in one project.
So the corrected speech which we have delivered again, we cannot consider it as project 3, right?
No, it's same project.
So that so that all the 14 projects we need to do again.
No. Only for this icebreaker you have that evaluation feedback. You go to level 2, you will do required projects, introduction to Toastmasters, mentoring. Mentoring is another module. So go to level 3, one required project, the minimum of, so when you go to your curriculum, you will see what is the required project. Okay? And then you select electives. So you have the electives in your curriculum, you have electives. So from electives, you will choose the projects which you want to deliver.
So all the 5 levels have 14 projects.
All the 5 levels, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing, Shan, so you did the second project
Yeah.
last time, right?
Yeah, there is one.
Icebreaker already you did.
I did before.
Before,
pathways.
icebreaker he completed under the pathways.
No, before pathways.
Before pathways. So,
Then in pathways.
the last one you did is
Yeah,
the second project.
after joining pathways, first I did the second project.
Okay.
No, that means you did from the old manual?
No, from
From
pathways.
the,
Pathways only.
Icebreaker you,
Icebreaker I did from
so
pathways.
that is the
okay.
first one.
Yeah.
Icebreaker you did. Second, in the last meeting you did
Project
the
two.
second project
So
too.
project two
So
first
I
page.
was the evaluator. So I gave the feedbacks. Now he need to once again do the project means page by incorporating that suggestions.
Yes.
Right. That two together bundled as the second one.
Yeah.
In this.
So that
Right.
is second project 2 only. Because here.
Second, it's a part of the second project.
That's right, yeah.
So only dependency here is like I was the evaluator for him in the first one. It means the first part of this. Most ideally, it should be again re-evaluating the second one because the assessment.
No.
But if
Yeah.
you want to keep consistency, so it is not
It's
mandatory
not
that you have to do
mandatory.
this.
Otherwise, they so the new evaluator should go through the history and based on that, you need to give the suggestions.
Yeah.
That's the only difference here. What I see
So
here.
it's not mandatory, you can do that.
Right. Yes, not mandatory,
But
but
do we have provision to upload this particular
Evaluation.
evaluation?
Yes.
I didn't see that in level 1.
No,
Level 1 evaluation.
No, you have to go to-
website. That time we can.
Yeah, we can go to the website. and see
Website
that.
and we
Yeah.
can discuss.
All right, so this is again the paths and the competencies mapped. These are the core competencies, and so these paths are designed using these core competencies. So what are the paths? What are the core competencies used is noted here. These materials are available on the website, so you'll be able to get these resources. Okay. Now, so if you have selected a path, let's say presentation mastery. So these are the mastering fundamentals, learning your styles. From 3, 4, 5, you have these electives. So you can choose from the electives here. There are choose 2, and choose 2. Yeah. So whatever the projects which you want to do, you can select from. Here you have about 30 options here to select.
This is level, not project level.
Yeah. When you come to level 3, you need to do certain projects. Okay. So now you have electives, this much electives to choose your projects. So you can see the deliver social pages using presentation software. Now all these materials available once you select your path. If you are going to do presentation mastery, you will be able to access these materials and then select the projects which you are planning to do. Okay. Now, so some of them are new, some of them are old. If you go to the old advanced manuals, you might find some of these. And if you see, some of them are like Now, understanding vocal variety, it was earlier one. Prepare for an interview. I don't know whether it was there earlier. There was, huh? It's a new one. Yeah. And then you have managing projects successfully. So these are the new additions to the curriculum. So manage online meetings, which was not there earlier. So, sorry, create podcast, writing a blog. These are the new additions. Now, based on your choices, you can choose and deliver the projects. All right. Any questions? This is another part, and you might find now. Answer to your question, now if you go to leadership development and dynamic leadership, you might find a lot of similarities in these choices. And even in other parts, you will find similar choices in most of the parts for the electives. Now, in the older version of the Toastmasters, we had 2 tracks, leadership and communication. This is how become the DTM. You have to do communication track about 40 projects. So there are about competent communicator and then 3 advanced manuals. So altogether, not 6 advanced manuals, altogether 40 projects. And then you have speech crafts, YLP, district officer, club officer. With all together, you become DTM. Now in the new pathways, so you have the same requirement. District, you have to be a district officer, you have to be a club officer for 12 months, and you have to be a club mentor or a club coach, club sponsor, speech craft or youth leadership. One of these you have to conduct yourself, and then you complete 2 paths. Okay, and then you have a DTM project. Now this DTM project is that whatever you have learned through the Toastmasters in this path, then you design a new project using those experiences. But I have not found in Toastmasters International, up to now I have searched and find it. So how do you present this project? Whether it is writing a synopsis or a project report, something like that, and then you present it. So it's the experience you gain through the paths. So you are writing, I'm sure that you have to write this kind of a, this is not a thesis, maybe a synopsis, smaller. But I'm not sure that because I could not find in the Toastmasters International what is this DTM project is. Have you, any of you have found it? No.
In my opinion, it is not there. Once you finish this one, you become a DTM. Once you finish all this one.
No. It is says that you need to design and a project using the experiences you gained during all these activities you have carried out. But what is that project? I have to get the details. Anyway, I will clarify this one from pathways.
It's a long way to go to DTM.
Even in the one of the electives, we have seen one of law, for example. So how there is no information, how do we present this? Whether we write a blog in a blog site and present it here, or how to write a blog?
Now it is that you have access to those materials, not yet. Now when you go to the level 3, you will have this access to material, then you file it. Now that is another drawback here. You will not have access to your materials unless you complete the path. Perhaps it is the program is designed in a way that you should not get confused by going through so many things. So you go level by level. That's right, yeah. So once you get to that level, then you have the options, you have the guidance and how to do it. So I have not even seen that because I tried also to get these materials, but so of course details are there, what are the projects, but you will find the resources only once you complete that level and go to the next level. Alright, so let's quickly move on to, now this is the Toastmasters website, and you will see the pathways tab there, and those who have not visited, you can see that you will get this password when you click on the login on that corner on top of this, and then you use your username and password. If you don't have password, click on this forget password and you will get password to your email link. Alright, so when you enter into the website, you get these steps. Continue to, now if you are a new member and if you have not selected your path, so you can go and do the path selection. So if you have selected your path, then log in as a member, or if you are a base camp manager, you have two options here: log in as the base camp manager or log in as a member. So VP Education President and the Secretary has that option. Then launch the navigator. Now if you go through the navigator, I think VP Education and the President, you must tell all the members to go through this. So this has all the information about how the Toastmaster Club is run and what are the, especially for the new members, you promote them to go through the navigator and find, because that information, what we used to tell, you know, when a new member comes, we have to explain to him how the Toastmaster program is running. So sometimes you have a mentor to do that, or sometimes Club VP membership is explaining. Now you have online resources that you can tell them, go to the navigator and have a look. And if you have questions, you can come and ask. So every step is described there. So how do you conduct club meetings? Okay. And the Toastmasters program. Alright, so select an online path or printed path. So how many of you wanted printed ones? None of you, because you have to pay. If you want to get printed one, you have to pay extra $25. So better not to. But I don't know whether once, but there is a, I was thinking, now suppose if you order online material, you get the whole path. Then you have now, when you are in online, you get
Step by step.
step by step. But if you order printed material, they will send you the whole path. So maybe club can have one, you know, but you have 10 paths. Maybe you cannot do for all the paths. If you one or two paths,
$250 per 10 pass.
yeah.
$250.
So it is then very expensive. If you want to get the materials, but otherwise, maybe they also thought that. So it's a business model.
What are we going to do?
We cannot download.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
We really don't require.
You don't need it.
It is better not to, because you know, I know that I ordered this all 16 manuals of advanced manuals, and I still have that. See, but of course I was giving to club members and to use them, but I'm not going to. I have not used that enough. So it is no point in bringing. Rather, better you focus what you do online and then complete step by step. All right. So now we go online and let's see how you select your path and you know. Alright, so this is my login. So I suggest that next, if you want, I can come again with you. And so what I suggest is VP Education. You have a small session. Everyone bring laptops, or so you do one demonstration, because you know a lot of things are there. So sometimes it is better that you practice in the club itself, one session. So you practice that people get familiar with the things that how to do. Now, let's say continue to path selection. Now for me, I have already selected a path earlier, so I do not have a free selection. So, but I will take the assessment. So you select the language, and then you start. So if you want to, if you have seen that underneath there was a skip assessment. So if you want to skip the assessment, you can do that. So then you go directly to the paths and you will select it. You can see there. Now if you skip the assessment here, so you get the paths directly. So then you choose whatever you require. So I would recommend that it is better that you go to the selection process and see whether when you ask these questions, what they recommend you, whether it is right or not. I mean, whether you would like to do that or not, you can decide at that point of time. So you select the language and then you go to. All right. See, you have to select 3 topics you are interested in learning about from the list below. Can you select? Tell me.
Public speaking,
Yeah.
project planning,
Project planning.
Motivating others.
Motivating others. So three go.
Tell me what's important.
I cannot close that one. I don't know. You can do it. Just
Okay.
let me see. Let's move this way. There is a one. Okay, sound good.
You can kill that.
No, I'll
Anyone I know
Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll go to the next. All right, so can you give an answer for this? Which of the following topics is most related to the personal and professional goals that brought you to Toastmasters? Be honest. Learning about
Public speaking.
working in team is a good opportunity for me to understand myself better.
Strongly agree.
I use a wide range of behaviors, including self-disclosure and wit, to adapt to others. Huh? Strongly.
a lot of questions.
That's the thing. Now you have different answers. Yeah.
Should
You can skip this.
Now see, now so this is how you're going. You're answering all these questions. Be honest and give answers. If you're not sure,
Let us put agree.
Let's go. Okay. All right. Next, I show my involvement in conversation. Agree? I'm reluctant to adapt new ways.
It doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
No,
You want me to? No, we can just close it. Finish.
No, let us see the one.
You want? Okay.
It's basically kind of psychometric and finally to suggest.
Yeah, that's right.
If you give a same answer, that will be
Let's see what is happening. Yeah. So this is how we test it. Let us give the same answer and see what they are
Then
saying.
it will say no need to join in the.
You are not.
They are not suitable for.
You are copying something.
Congratulations on becoming a
They will ask, the robot or not?
And sure. This is the most agreeable guy.
Change this one. Sure.
Okay.
It is
Now you are the leader. Which you are the leader. You are suitable for Prime Minister.
Okay. This match is what? Scroll down.
Innovative.
By default, innovative planning comes.
Savior. I think most people Most of the people I have heard, they got innovative plan. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe they click all the same marks also. So the system thinks that if you click on the same marks, maybe you are an innovative person.
You need to be innovative.
So this is how, alright, this is how,
We can go back and again revise the questions.
As you have chosen
And
a path.
we can do it at home, we don't have that.
so let's see the, now let us go to the login as a part.
Also is guide.
Oh, sorry. I was about the
Login and password member.
member. I have three, I think two.
Yeah, you have.
The way also,
See, if you are a president, vice president, secretary, you get
Yeah.
both options. All right. Now, what do you want to see? My education transcripts.
Yeah.
So where you have all your the selected part and all the training materials what you use and the activities you do, it will be here. See, I just created something on active listening. I just created a request to see because if you are doing a project outside your club, so you need to create a request and then the BP education has to approve that. So I wanted to see how it's working. I just created one.
Outside the club, that's it?
Yeah, you can.
So you are doing a speech in some other club.
Okay, that's.
Some other Toastmasters club. See now, how do you record that one? Because it is not recorded in your club.
Mhm.
So then the member has to get send a request to you, BP Education. He will approve that. So once he finish that, so he come and update that I have completed the project. So you have a record that he has done it outside. Earlier, you take the book and ask because the other club is not having access to our base camp. So it is only the BP Education only the BP Education has access to our base camp. I mean your club base camp, BP Education president and secretary. Other club BP Educations they cannot access. So earlier it is matter of taking the manual and getting signature from whoever they are. So now you cannot do that. So you have to
evaluators, where he has to go and.
evaluation resources. You go back again.
There is one question today of the due date, no?
Yeah.
You cannot set the due date.
No, we cannot set due date at the moment. I think they will later on. Maybe they will add that. So
You don't know when did you complete that. There is no record.
So you.
No, I think due date is not set because, for example, let's say project number 2, in the level
No,
1.
due date is that the date which you are going to do. I mean, they are setting a date that this is the deadline for you.
That cannot be set, right? For example, you are telling that you are going to do a speech today, but some other activities you are not able to attend. So if the set due date, then you will less.
Evaluation. Now here you. See speech guys. Now speech evaluations. Now suppose if you are doing an evaluation. So you want to see that the evaluation resources, you go to this is speech evaluation. See all the projects evaluations are here.
Okay.
Evaluation formats.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to get the evaluation format from here and then
I think you can take it.
yes, right there.
But anybody can open this one?
You can open yes.
No, even if I am not, because suppose if I am evaluating,
Yes.
I can open any of this.
Of course yes.
But these are temporal form, most probably.
Yeah, these are the formats. See, these are the formats because the reason now Rajesh, you are doing a speech and he is evaluating, so he should have access to the evaluation formats to go through the evaluation forms and see how is going to evaluate the project. So and now the speaker, what you have to agree within the club that speaker will bring this form to the club. Because this, of course, in future maybe in Toastmasters you bring laptops and you do the evaluation online and then upload at the same time. So
That is also possible.
that is also possible.
These are PDFs. These are PDFs. It's not a
No, maybe printable also.
My
It
question
can be
is-
printable. If you have PDF writer, then you can.
See, already there is an app.
No, my question is.
Others have. So
No, there is an app,
Yeah.
Toastmasters app, but it lets you record hour counters and
yeah. So then similarly,
Yeah, but
you
not
might
for-
find a mobile app in future.
Yeah.
You can give feedbacks, not now. So currently, what you need to do is you print this format. the speaker bring the evaluation form and give it to the evaluator, so he will write it and give back to you.
No,
So
no,
you
the
can,
question is, suppose somebody is evaluating, should he be in the pathway or anybody can evaluate? So now I am not in the pathway.
yeah.
So somebody is giving the project in
It
pathway.
doesn't matter, you can evaluate, you are a Toastmaster member and doesn't matter, you have not selected pathways. You have a guideline for evaluation, based on that you can do it. So it doesn't, not necessary to be in pathways.
How do we upload this document? This should be scanned and uploaded?
VP, he has got to make
Only
it.
VP has to.
So you are VP.
can also.
No,
We
you
should
can do
do
that,
that.
you can do that. One second. Let's see.
Isn't it difficult?
I didn't hear you, what?
After every speech, the speaker has to take you to deliver. Then
How do we record this evaluation?
See,
How do we record this evaluation?
That is an option.
So it's like a chatting stuff.
now here it is like, see, if you want to request something, and see, this is the feedback. Okay, feedback. Now let's say you finish a speech. You finish a speech, and then you want someone to, let's say, Rajesh, please give me your feedback. So you type something, okay? Now this is share with managers only, you need to once again you need to select. There is an option to select that, to see, other members can see that. One second, where was it? Where was it?
You can search with the member name
Yeah, I think it is here.
from the base number.
Let's see. One second. Not here, then here you can search the members, you can search here. Let's see.
I couldn't see all the members now.
This is one of our members. Now you can see the profile of the members. So now that is the Basecamp profile. Now when you, if you want to see a profile of another member, so you can go to the Basecamp profile and search the member's name. You can type it and you can get this. See, you can see that what is his, preferences. So it's like Facebook profile, you update and then you go and see others' information. So that is possible within members, within the club, you will be able to share this information. Say, let's see the member joined and you want to see what his or her interests are. If he has updated profile, now if you go to my profile,
Yeah, that's fine. But how to record what roles we are performing in each meeting?
yeah, that you go to your account. See my account.
The bottom is.
So here you have, see, the options, account, general evaluator, so
On a
whatever,
particular date.
yeah. So whenever you do, you can select the date and complete that, save it. See, once you finish your role, let's say you finish your role on today.
So does it mean that if I can be a accountant once, that is enough?
Sorry?
Any number of times.
No. You see, membership record will be there. So once you do it, once you finish it, if you have done this next time, you can clear it and do it again. Put the date again.
But the
See,
record is lost, right?
No, it is there. It will be recorded. It will membership records. The Basecamp manager can give that one.
VP can monitor.
VP membership. VP.
But member
VP
will not be able
education.
to know when and where, when during
No, member can.
which time, which dates I have done this.
No, it will be recorded in the
Only VP.
Yeah.
That is why you take it for the
Can we
calendar.
choose a date before we join the pathways? Because for me,
You have done.
I have done some roles before I choose pathways.
but better not to, because now we are going through the, see now when you go for projects, you have certain roles to perform, like topic master.
We are not
Okay.
on the plan.
I see, okay. All right. See, what I will summarize something on, what I suggest is that you do another session with the members doing it. See, the VP education, I can come and sit and then someone else do it and log into your club and see how the things are working. So maybe you bring 2 laptops, one member will update, the other one will see how it is getting updated. Now quickly I will go to the Basecamp managers. Let's go to the no, we go here and then you go. So now here you log in as Basecamp manager, where that you can see the reports. Okay. Now let's go to the member progress.
Where you can see. Your question is answered.
Yeah. So now if you see that status of the, let's say go to individual progress. See now in our club there are level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paths selected by members, and there are 9 members who have selected these paths. So dynamic leadership, you have 3 members, innovative planning, you have. So now if you want to see these who are the members, go here and view details. And now here you will. So you will see the paths. Now likewise, whatever you do, it will be recorded, and that record will be visible. I mean, he can access these records and see what you have carried out. So that's how he get the request and approve. So once you do a project and not the projects you can do, but when you complete the level, BP education has to do. So the other every activity you do, it doesn't need to do.
But other role, not in the pathway program.
Yeah.
You was telling other.
No, other roles you perform, it will be part of the pathway requirements, or it is not necessary. It's not necessary, but see, it will be recorded only if it is used for a project. Yeah. Otherwise, it will not be. But this one I will clarify again. I'm not sure whether the whole thing will go to the record as if you perform the word master of the day many times. You perform the Toastmaster of the day many times. Because I have not seen a record of that. You perform, a member perform.
Because you have to be timer 3 times, like Toastmaster of the day 2 times.
Yeah, but that you will be doing it when you are part required to do that activity. You have to be a topic master. So when you do that, you complete that role, it will be recorded. But I will check and let you know about that. Maybe you do multiple times the word master 10 times, because there is no significance in terms of getting the project requirements by doing that role. But it is significant for a member to see that I have performed this role many times. So that question needs to be file it.
And even uploading the evaluation, that
Yeah.
will also be missed.
Should be. I will send you
Yeah,
a
that would be
small
better.
email to everyone, and Rajesh,
Not
you can yes.
I can circulate.
Yes. Okay. And uploading any document. So there is option that you can upload any material and you can keep, as a you can say, but not much. I think capacity is less because I have tried to upload more than 1 MB you cannot. So it is less than 1 MB document only you can upload to the system. So you can, my documents, there is a file that you can keep those documents there. So I will send a link where you can use it. And also I again recommend Deepak, and you will have a session with this. Invite me, I will come and sit with you, but one of you have to do that one. So that way the members will get trained to do that. Also you go home and practice this, because it's a new thing. And even for us, I'm also still searching through the web to find out certain information, because it's not very concise and user-friendly that you go step by step. So there are a lot of information. So you need to practice a certain period of time, then you will get used. Once you get used to it, I mean, see, when maybe the Facebook introduced the same similar problems are there with the people. How people knows how to post it, how to upload things. The similar way, after some time you will be familiar with the system and it will be easy. All right, thank you very much.
One question.
Yeah.
Stand there, I will take a picture.
One question. See, that rules and framework is fixed, and is there any chance of progressive updates or changes? Let's say we are all talking about the credit transfer from the current part, right? See, there's a major problem where some of the members are not yet even open the account. Okay. See, if you take these members sitting over here, mostly either CC completed, CL completed. See, for example, I completed CCCL and I have done the 8th project of ACP. Only 2 more remaining, right? Similarly, there are multiple. See, we are in a dilemma, right? Whether we need to go back to this one or continue with that. Okay, you say there are 2 years.
Yeah.
Probably, see, let's say we are thoroughly focusing on SCB to other levels. Okay, so that 2 years we will focus only on that. Those members, existing experienced members, they will be out of this, right? Because we are focusing on complete the other one. So new members, obviously, so they will quickly catch up and get into this, right? So what you can do, if still is there a chance of representing to the Toastmasters, you people being the core and coordinators on this. Introduce a mechanism to transfer the credit. See, this is there in all the transitions, right? I have CC. Let me give me a chance to give me a chance to move into this, and let's say 5th or 6th immediately you can see the immense change in this, right? CL equivalent credit, what's wrong in this? Because as long as we say it's a self-learning. If I am confident that I'm CC, why can't I get into that particular level of this
Actually,
No, yeah. But then why he is here?
He
We can also write.
I'm not talking in.
This is I understand your question.
You can write it to them, right?
It's a valid question.
Yes.
But however, Toastmasters, they have gone through certain. They started in 2010, so they have appointed the learning management
This
team.
is where we are failing. Nothing
Yeah.
is perfect. Okay, we are seeing the failures. We are seeing.
I agree with you.
How many projects you did
From
pathways?
Pathways, I did only icebreaker.
Yeah, some of us opened, only the newcomers started at least doing to the second.
Yeah.
This is the failure for us.
Yeah.
So we need to think of this. Better if you get a credit, move all of them, move all of us into this pathways, make it mandatory, then go ahead. So you can suggest this. That's what I would say.
But at the same time, the goal of becoming a Toastmaster, so to become an effective communicator and a leader, even if you go through that the older curriculum.
The problem is we will be missing this. There will be a differentiation between.
Alright, okay, so let's start, but I'll take your point and I will write to the Pathways Chief Ambassador Uma Radhakrishnan. So she can take up the Thank you very much, guys. And if you need any information related to the pathways, you can email to me. My email address is with Rajesh. The telephone number is with Rajesh. I will attend one more time, 1 or 2 times. Call me, Rajesh, when you have a meeting. I don't want to take the time of the club, but we will see the activities. How I'm sure that we can together will see that how the pathways is. That's right. How you implemented and how people are performing through the pathways. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Once again, give a big round of applause for for the last phase of today's meeting. We have a presentation for the winners for the table topics. I request
I will consult.
the
The winner is any guess?
No, Shiraz.